Welcome to the AR Performance Squash Advantage, hosted by me, Ahad Raza, a former PSA touring pro turned elite performance mentor and coach. I break down tactics, technique, fitness, and mindset by analyzing players from the past and present, both men and women. I aspire to teach, empower, and guide transformation. Let's get started. What's up, everyone? Today's video is all about tactics, strategy, and in particular, we're going to check this out through one rally between Tarek Momen and Joel Macon from, again, the recent 2021 CIB Men's Black Ball Open. Thank you, Squash TV, for making this available to us. You're going to see several things in this rally. I'm going to play it for you at regular speed, probably twice, so you can really get your head around things, and then we're going to break it down. So as always, please get your notebook and a pen ready. The more you take your notes, the more you start thinking about things, the more effective I will be as a mentor and a coach to you. So let's check this out. The rally is about to begin in a second. Okay, I'm going to play it one more time for you at regular speed so that you can make your notes. Get ready and go. I hope you got your notes. If you need to replay it one more time. But now when you're thinking about this, what did you realize when it came to pressure? What did you realize when it came to relentlessness, Tarek Momen's relentlessness? How did Joel Macon respond to the pressure? What patterns did Momen play to? What patterns did Macon try to do if you thought that he was creating any patterns? How did Tarek Momen break the pattern when it came to his attacking? Was he taking the ball early, late? Was he letting Joel Macon settle? These are the kind of things that you want to be thinking about. So now, in a minute, we're going to check the video out in slow motion, and I'm going to walk you through it. So let's get started on that now. First things first, Macon is under pressure even from the start of the rally. And what is he doing? He's lifting from that back corner, playing that cross-court lob from the back, getting low, getting under the ball, playing that lob so that he can give himself time to recover to the tee. And let's see how that works. It's actually not a bad ball, and for that reason, Momen probably wants to cut it off so it doesn't go and fade into the back. In addition to which, clearly Momen is very confident at this point in time, so he's going for the attacks. And that's what we see here. Confidence, just continues attacking. He's not even in the air, so that just shows you his confidence. And the execution of that shot is pretty good. It's nice and short. Macon is having a scramble and go get that ball again. And what does Momen do? He attacks, and he's getting back to the tee so that he can be ready to get the next ball, assuming that Macon gets it back. And then from there, Macon's played this nice attempt at a cross-court lob to defend. And where's Momen going? Momen is going right across that tee, looking to continue hunting. Now, one mistake that a lot of players make is that they do not respect a good shot. And I think I've talked about this in a previous video. But this is the idea that if Macon hit a ball, as you can see, his lob is coming here. It's for a player of Momen's caliber, the ball's going to drop and it's going to come in his volley range. That's a relatively easy ball for him to hit. So that lob, ideally, you want that to be coming back here on that side wall so that it's totally out of volley reach. If you play an opponent and your opponent hits that super effective, accurate lob, we need to settle in our mind and respect their shot. By continuing to try and attack when it's not there, that's when we force the errors. That's when we can pop up loose balls. That's when all those things happen. Instead, we got to think like boxers. And I know I've used this analogy before. It's a jab. Every time Momen's attacking, it's a jab. Macon's having to do that work. On the next one, when Momen volleys it, it's another jab. And then Macon has to do more work. Don't think about that knockout punch. It doesn't need to be a winner. And sometimes if you see boxers and they're jabbing and they're in a bit of a flurry, then they back off. When they see that their opponent may or may not have they may not have been impacted by that as much, or they feel like they've put in the work and now they settle back, or their opponent kind of shows some aggression, they settle back a little bit. Same idea. We got to be able to reset in squash. So if your opponent plays a good defensive ball, do not try and attack that again. Respect it, reset the rally, and then look for the next high percentage opening. But in this case, Makin's lob is not good enough. So what does Momen do? Momen goes to volley, and he's going to try to get the longest length in the court. So Makin's coming out of his front right corner. The biggest or the longest length in the court is diagonally across. So Momen's trying to hit that drive down here to force Momen to do some work. And what we see is that Momen hits that cross, the straight drive, but the ball is a little bit short. So this is kind of like a no man's land ball, because it's not short enough to be a kill. Ideally for the kill, you want that second bounce to be here, and it's not long enough to be a length, where you want that kind of, ideally in this case, if he wants to attack it, second bounce is in the back wall nick. But it's neither short enough nor long enough to be effective in this case. So Makin's able to cut it off, as you'll see in a second. There's the cutoff, and he's playing a nice rally length. Not really a defensive length, because you'll notice it's like right around the service line on the front wall. It's a rally length that's nice and glued to that side wall, giving Momen some time to come back. But now here's where Momen, and this is what I was talking about, respecting the shot. For a lower level player, I would probably recommend respecting the shot, because it's glued to that wall. So you might want to let that ball go, or at least not attack it the way Momen's attacking it. He's one of the top players in the world, very highly skilled with his racket, which is why he's able to do this. So now he continues hunting, and he's putting in the next attack. But previously you noticed he played a straight volley drive, a straight volley drop on the forehand. Momen played the cross. Then Momen played the straight volley length on the backhand. Momen played the straight. Now Momen is changing the pattern. He's going cross instead of going straight. He's played a couple of straight balls in a row. And let's see the effect that has on Momen. See, Makin's automatically going this way, and then he realizes that the ball's actually going in the other direction, and he has to make that, whoa, look at that leap. That's pretty epic. And then there's a big adjustment for the hard right turn. Now Momen's shot quality isn't that great, so Makin's able to get on it relatively easily, considering that he was going in the wrong direction, like really badly. And then what do we see here? Momen is back on the tee. His racket is not by his feet. It's kind of at a mid position, because he's going to be looking for the next ball from Momen. And Momen is, in this case, he's playing a counter drop, because Momen's ball was actually fairly loose on that attack. And the goal from this kind of an angle, because he's already pretty close to the side wall, you're not trying to hit a nick from this position. You're trying to hit front wall, floor, get it into the side wall, and try to squeeze an error out of your opponent. So that's what Momen's doing here. You notice his was pretty high on the front wall, which is totally fine for this ball. He missed his angle a little bit because it caught the side wall and it's popping out. And you see it's popped out enough, and then Momen can go and hold, and he's a master of holds. He goes and holds and snaps that cross. So now Momen again is in a defensive position. And if you watch Momen's cross, first ball bounces here, second bounce is getting into that back corner. So Momen has no choice but to take it before it hits the back wall, or else that ball's dead. So again, Momen is here defending. And his goal, ideally, is to use some height to buy himself some time. Not really high enough, but still like pretty decent length. He's a strong guy, so he got enough power to get that ball all the way back, but he didn't buy himself maybe as much time as he could have. What does Momen do? He cuts it off early. Again, that was a pretty decent length in my opinion, but again, a player of Momen's skill and caliber going cross off of that again. And that's not the most obvious shot, which is why Momen is again kind of stretched out and being forced to do something in this position, because if he let that ball go back, he'd be under even more pressure. So what does he try to do over here? He plays a little high, little floaty defensive drop in a sense. And I talked about that in the previous video. I'll link to it over here. But that defensive drop, nice and loose for Momen. Momen, master of the wrist and deception. What does he do? Goes for that cross again, except this time he's not going for the cross length the way he did in the last two shots. He's going for a cross kill. And there's that kill, and that presents a new angle, because now in the past that ball's been going cross, but it's been going deep. Now, and then there was one short one, except it wasn't very accurate. This one is accurate, and you see Momen is really stretched out over here. And I actually broke down this next shot in the previous video, which I'll link to for you as well, but it's the defensive drop that Momen plays here. The goal is to get this ball as tight to the sidewall as possible, giving yourself time by using a bit of height on the front wall. Not accurate enough, again, for this standard. And this one's interesting. So Momen jumps on that ball early, again, not giving Momen as much time. Momen's momentum is going right. And this is potentially because the last 4 shots that Momen has attacked with were all crosses. So he went cross courts from the back, he went cross court flick from the front. The last shot before this was the cross court kill on the forehand. And this time he goes straight. So he breaks a pattern of 4 consecutive shots. And you can see that from Momen's movement, he's anticipating the cross. Arguably, I mean, I can't read his mind, but arguably he's subconsciously anticipating a cross because that's what Momen's been hitting. And he was actually over to the left side quite a bit. So you would think that Momen would hit this way because this is where the open court is. But he uses a little bit, he gets on the ball early, he takes time away from Momen, he breaks the pattern. There's probably some deception in there. You can see his swing is coming all the way out to the side. Typically for the cross court, you're going to extend your racket that way. So there's several elements at play, but you can see that Momen's going the wrong way, and then he has to scramble. Momen also hit that ball very effectively. His second bounce was going to be before the back glass, which is what forced Momen to have to get that ball early and attempt a backwall lob, which he did not hit successfully. Lesser players may get their opponent out of position, but they often try to crush that ball, and that ball does not fade into that back. It comes off the back glass, which basically defeats the purpose of the attack because you give your opponent time to let that ball come, and they're not forced to get it early and possibly pop up a loose ball or not get it at all. So there you have it. That was an example of several elements of tactics at play. We saw Momen defending, consistently trying to defend, not always accurate enough for someone of Momen's level. And then Momen was just relentless, putting pressure. And then we saw the idea of patterns. He played several crosses and then played a straight and caught Momen off guard. And he initiated the rally with a couple of straights and then a cross that caught Momen off guard. So he broke the pattern quite nicely. If you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up, like it, comment. I'd love to hear from you. We can discuss squash, and if you have any questions, happy to answer them. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and please share it with other folks that you think might benefit from it. I'm signing out for the day. Enjoy the other videos as well, and I will see you in the next one.